Good morning, intrepid readers. It's Wednesday, I don't know, 12th of September? Yes, I believe so, because yesterday was the 16th anniversary of the attacks on 9/11. I was telling my husband I was homesick from work on that day, and my friend Lisa called me and said, "You got to turn on the TV." And I did that and saw the towers falling, and it was so awful. Like, I've never seen anything so awful. But, so anyway, it's the day after that, and I missed this last week. It's apparently going to take me a little time to get back into the swing of this video version of my blog. See, I have some bruises on my lip, which I did at the dermatologist, put a little filler in my lip. I don't think it looks very different, but it does. It's subtly helpful. It's a long story. Anyway, when people tell you they don't do anything to try and keep themselves younger, sometimes they're lying. So that's what this is. Stuff that I don't want to lie about, but that I do to keep myself feeling like, just like I look healthier, glowier, whatever. Anyway, let's talk about the blog that I put up on Sunday of this week. It was called The Mystery of Endorsements. I think it was Endorsements. Anyway, it was about, I read an article about a teacher who, a very innovative and fabulous teacher who uses all of these technology tools in her classroom. And see, I guess the first thing I need to say is that teachers spend a lot of their own money trying to improve their classroom, whether it's supplies or things around in their room, whatever it may be. Teachers spend a lot of their own money to do that. And this teacher has caught the eye of some big companies, Google and Amazon and Apple. So they have been giving her technology in exchange for using it in her classroom and then discussing it on her social media or just kind of out in public. And so she is endorsing these products in exchange for their use. And fabulous, right? I posted the article and I had some people's immediate reactions were, teachers don't have any money, they need help. This is a good thing. And I agree to a point. But the other part of the article that some people didn't quite read that far, I think, kind of talks about the dangers inherent in endorsing a product, which is that what if it turns out in the future that there's a better product that is better for kids? What if it turns out in the future that it wasn't as great of a product as you thought? Whatever the case may be, there are, I think, there's a little bit of a slippery slope danger in this concept because it's maybe not always about, it doesn't turn out to always be about what's right for the student. And I think in the case of this teacher that there's no question that she is super into what's right for her kids and is working so hard, unbelievably hard to do that. But we still need to look at that. And the comparison they make that I think is a good one is to the pharmaceutical companies. Because in the past, or maybe still currently, doctors and pharmaceutical companies have a relationship whereby pharmaceutical companies might give medications for doctors to try and other swag, right? They've given them, in the past, there was some stuff like big swag, cars, whatever, that is now not practiced so much anymore. But the point is, how do you not feel beholden then to that medication and that pharmaceutical company, regardless of whether there's a better product out there for your patient or whatever? And studies have shown that that's a fact. If a if a doctor gets swag from pharmaceutical companies, whether they mean to or not, they are more likely to then prescribe that medication for their patients. And it's a huge slippery slope, right? It's and you could get into a whole private versus public, capitalism versus socialism. I mean, you could get into all sorts of arguments as far as just the ideas behind this. But I do think that it needs to be something now that they're looking at it for teachers. And I have a friend who made a good point, which is, how do teachers have time to build a brand for themselves? Like, this teacher now kind of has built a brand for herself, and that brand, endorsements through that brand, are really good for the company that builds the products and for the teacher. So I don't know how she has time to do it. Myself, I taught for 20 years, and now I'm a writer, and the only time I got to write was during the summers. Sometimes I had no time to write for years on end. So anyway, that's my question for the blog this week. Do you think that endorsing something can present a danger for the value of the endorsements? Or do you think that endorsing something can then end up being not so good for the people that are using the product? Do you think it can kind of corrupt the person who's doing the endorsing? I don't know. That is my question. That's what I discussed in my blog. If you want to go back and read it, please do. Or comment here. I would love to hear what you think. So until next time, stay mystified.